Gonna drive one from long range, and he's hit the top corner. It's a beauty for Daryl Fordyce. Here, and Lang's just gone past his marker and driven one into the back of the net. And FC Edmonton are on fire this afternoon. Welcome back to Clarke Stadium, the Canadian Tire home opener today, and FC Edmonton's first home game of the season. A good atmosphere in the stadium. 304 supporters club buses coming in to fill out section 107 today. The home fans into it and hoping the Eddies can get off to a home victory today. A strong record at Clarke Stadium, as we've talked about, and they'll be wanting to get off on the right footing. Just shaking hands with the officials there in the center circle. A couple of ex-players facing them today, Neil Laverty and Wes Knight. We're going to bring you the coin toss with A&W as the two captains get together, Albert Watson and Daniel Scott. And it looks like Scott wins the toss. Welcome to our US fans watching on ESPN3 today. We are live at Clarke Stadium, FC Edmonton against the Carolina Railhawks. Carolina in orange and the Eddies in blue today. Let's bring you the starting lineups brought to you by Waterloo Ford Lincoln. Today for the Eddies, Van Oekel in goal, Edward, Watson, Roberts and Moses the back four. Across the midfield, Niasi, Jones, Rodales and Lang. Fordyce will play just behind Jonke. Albert Watson, the captain, and for Carolina, Hunter Gilstrap in goal, Scott, Tobin, Albadawi, and Wagner, Knight, Osaki, Anderson, and Laverty. Shipolani, a constant threat here at FC Edmonton. Whenever he's played, he'll be on the right. And Nacho Novo already off to a goal-scoring start. He'll be the lone striker today for the Railhawks, and their captain is Daniel Scott. Weather conditions not as nice as they were yesterday in Edmonton, 17 or 18 degrees. That tells you what's going on here. Gusty winds, gusting to around 45 kilometers an hour and 8 degrees, but nice and dry. Hopefully if the sun comes out, and I think the wind expected to die down a little bit, the conditions could be difficult, I think, for both teams. They'll be wanting to keep the ball on the ground in the early stages here. Just a few last key messages for the players in that huddle. The big thing for the Eddies, wanting to get off to a good start, conceding the quickest goal ever in NASL modern history last week in 12 seconds. And that's something they won't be keen to repeat today. Van Oekel in goal for the Eddies. Let's look at the goalie matchups at Clarke Stadium today. And there we are, Matt Van Oekel and Hunter Gilstrap in between the sticks for Carolina.
And Gilstrap saved a penalty against Ottawa last week. Carl Hayworth's penalty attempt, which Carolina then just went down the field and then earned a penalty attempt of their own. So the keeper not only kept Ottawa out, but also contributed to a goal last week in the sense of setting up the counter that went off the penalty miss.
And a first day victory for Carolina and a first day defeat for the Eddies. So here we are set for kickoff. Jonky and Darryl Fordyce get us underway. The Eddies kicking from right to left, and Jones with a nice ball out to the left-hand side to pick out Lance Lang, who wins an early throw-in for FC Edmonton. Lang takes it quickly. It's headed towards goal, and that'll be an easy pickup for Hunter Gilstrap in goal for Carolina. Looks like the wind advantage will be with the Railhawks in this first half. And he's easily able to get that towards the edge of the penalty area. And here's an early chance for Carolina. Fantastic stop by Van Oekel. Still major issues here for FC Edmonton. Scrambling it away from the danger zone. Not the best start. And had it not been for a dramatic Van Oekel save, they could have been down again inside 40 seconds, inside the first minute of this match.
Again, that's the wind, and FC Edmonton misjudged it. They've played a lot in these conditions last year with the wind up. They should know that ball's going to carry, and it carried right behind their back line and turned into a fantastic scoring chance because the defenders, the back line, all misjudged how far that ball was going to carry and how it was going to skip on the turf.
Colin Miller will not have been pleased with that start. He was drilling into his players all week. Let's have a good, solid start. Keep things simple, not give anything away. Well, Van Oekel had to make a very fine save very early on in the match, inside the first minute. It remains 0-0. That was a very good chance for Carolina to go ahead early. Shipalani on the edge of the penalty area. He's going to try his luck too. And Van Oekel, the busiest player on the pitch at the moment, gets down again and makes the save.
And that, the wind, just to give you an idea, you'll see it sometimes on the corner flags. It's bending the corner flags all the way over. Carolina's playing with it at their backs for the first half, and they've got to make it count. And we didn't see it early, but we've seen in previous games where teams have played here with the wind at their back. They have a hard time with it because the ball just skips on this turf and carries. But Carolina played it to a tee there right off the opening kickoff.
Good atmosphere inside Clarke Stadium in the early stages here. The home fans trying to lift the Eddies as Moses plays one across the back four. And it'll go all the way back for Van Oekel. And you can see there the wind makes it difficult for him to get distance on the clearance. Ends up shanking it into touch, and it's a throw-in for Carolina. Looking to lift one over the top of the defense again there. The captain, Albert Watson, back, heading it away from the danger zone. Novo holds up play well, though, and it's a break from the left-hand side. And Mark Anderson just a little bit too aggressive there, and the referee's whistle goes in favor of the Eddies. Still 0-0.
Here we're going to see. Oh, here it is. Anderson looks like the ball hits him up on the arm there a little bit, and that's what the call is. Don't think Mark Anderson knows too much about it, but call's given, and here we have the Eddies, and Van Oekel's going to boot this in the teeth of the wind. That's actually some pretty good distance.
Looks like it might be a bit of a swirling wind. It does die down at times, but when it's gusting, it does make things unpredictable.
Well, we just saw how it took Hunter Gilstrap's goal kick and just sent it down the field and sent Carolina in for that clear goal-scoring opportunity just seconds after the opening kickoff.
Eddie Edward playing one along the ground. Jonky winning the free kick there. He's not able to get up yet. Just up on his knee now and moving back into his central striking role as Moses tries to pull one behind the fullback. Lang's after it. Knight just gets a touch away from Lang. Free kick given to Carolina. They try to take it quickly. Too quickly for the referee's liking. Perhaps a rolling ball there. And Knight will get things restarted. Former Edmonton player. Things didn't quite work out for him at Clarke Stadium, though. Had a lot of injuries during his spell here. Settled into that right back position wearing number 8 for Carolina today. throw in that Edward takes. Richie Jones playing it back to goalkeeper Matt Van Oekel. 1-2 between Watson and Fordyce, and Watson playing that one long to Jonke, holds it up nicely. Fordyce trying to lift that one over the defense, but that's going to be easy for Carolina. Shipolani into the play again, and they're trying to work in Novo down the right-hand side. That will be a throw-in for FC Edmonton. Good atmosphere in the stadium. Both this stand and the one on the far side, section 107, sold out today. A lot of supporters from local teams making the trip to the match today, getting behind the Eddies this season. Lang's stolen possession nicely. Fordyce, good sharp pass to Jonke. Rides one challenge, couldn't get past the other. Fordyce has it again, and he's played a nice ball through for Niassi. Saini Niassi on the left-hand side, and just maybe ran it a bit too far and couldn't hook his foot around the ball to get the cross back in, and that's easy for Gilstrap.
Yeah, Niassi switching over to the left side. They're overlapping on Lance Lang, trying to switch it a little bit from his normal right-sided duties.
Carolina giving the ball away there, and it's picked up by Rodales. Edward back for Roberts. Roberts tries to tee up Van Oekel, and that's a gust of wind that takes that ball into the stand. And he really found that one difficult.
They've got to get him a short option where he can just put a ball on the ground and try to get to a defender close to the box. Because if he gets underneath that ball, you can see what happens in this wind. It's just blowing back and blowing sideways. So it's it really is just a hopeless cause for Matt Van Oekel when the wind picks up. It's just, it's a Hurricane fan that you're trying to kick the ball into. And you'll see here from this far out with this wind at his back, Neil Halavity could have a go. You might not think from this far back, from like 30, 35 yards out, that you could have a shot, but with this wind, this ball's going to carry and it could swerve a bit.
We've all seen Clavity's capability from this distance. In fact, he runs over it and it goes in towards the near post, and it's headed away nicely by Moses. Shipolani's going to have another chance on the right-hand side. Oh, he's made a nice move, steps into the area. Shipolani still going, lovely cutback. Great save again by Van Oekel, and FC Edmonton hanging on, and it once again just scrambling that ball away from the danger zone. No free kick given against Jonke, who feels he was bubbled over there, and instead it's going to be a throw-in for Carolina. But Shipolani, we knew he was the danger man beforehand, and that's why. Yeah, and
they zip right up. He zips right up the right side, and I believe that was Nacho Novo who got that touch that Jonke makes an excellent save on. That Matt Van Oekel makes an excellent save on, and Matt Van Oekel, disappointed last week with his outing, has made 2 outstanding saves early to keep this thing level.
Excellent stop by Van Oekel. At the other end, it's Lance Lang streaking away down the left-hand side. Lang's going to get to the byline here. He's got 2 players in the box. It's gone deep to the far post, and Niassi does get his head on the ball, and it's not a bad response from FC Edmonton, but that one goes into the side net.
I think the Carolina players thought that thing was going well into touch, and the wind just held that up from going into touch, and Niassi had that little look at the far post.
Very deep cross, and Niassi did well to get his head on that one. Cross perhaps a little too deep, but again, the wind conditions complicating things for both teams in the early stages. We've played 8 minutes, and it's 0-0 at Clarke Stadium.
And Carolina understands this now, and the last time they went up the field, everyone was in Edmonton's half of the field.
Another misjudgment in the Eddies' defense there, and here's a chance for Carolina, and it's at the moment Matt Van Oekel keeping the Eddies in it. That's his 3rd save in the first 10 minutes in a one-on-one situation, and kicks it away with his feet. Once again, positioned himself well, and some very good goalkeeping by Van Oekel in the early stages of this one. At the other end, there's a break by Jonke. In behind the back, Rodales found him, but he's offside.
That's a very, very close call there. Jonke was checking his run. I saw his hand was up saying, come on, send me, send me. But wow, are the Eddies getting caught with this wind and getting balls over the back? Mark Anderson there with a golden chance, and right now the player of the game 10 minutes in is Matt Van Oekel. The Eddies could be down 3 right now.
Might need some serious reorganization at the back. At the other end is Lang trying to get on the end of a through ball. The goalkeeper, Gilstrap, charges that down well, and is beautifully taken on the chest there in the midfield and played down the line by Al-Badawi. And he's gone to receive possession again, sidestepped his marker, tries to play it to the far post. Edward is the man making the clearance there. It's back with Novo to Al-Badawi again. Nice little slip through ball there. There's more problems for FC Edmonton, but this time it's Milan Roberts coming across to close that one down. Roberts makes a nice move past his man and wins a free kick for FC Edmonton. Milan Roberts, one of the stories of the off-season, finally getting Canadian citizenship after arriving here as a refugee.
He came here as a refugee from Sierra Leone. It was a very long process, but now he has his Canadian citizenship. This was a player that Colin Miller, when he was the interim coach of the national team, said if he would have had his passport, he would have called him up for a national team look. But unfortunately, it took a very, very long time for him to get that paperwork done.
Now at the heart of the Eddies' defense, and very highly thought of by coach Colin Miller, back there with the skipper Albert Watson. And he's got some work to do again here, chasing back towards goal. Van Oekel comes out and saves the day again. It's in the middle of the field for FC Edmonton. Fordyce picking out Lang. We know how dangerous Lang can be. Lang might try and have a go at night. Clips in the early cross, tries to catch the Railhawks by surprise. It'll be kept in on the far side of the field by Edward. Edward's first foray forward in this match, and he's lifted up a nice cross to the far post. It's an easy header away by Knight, and Carolina defending that one neatly. Badawi again playing a ball down the right-hand side and winning a throw-in. Carolina in the ascendancy in the early stages, but no goals so far on 12 minutes, and that's down in part to some excellent goalkeeping by Matt Van Oekel, and that'll be a big confidence boost for him after last week.
Yeah, and Carolina, at one point they're playing very, very well, but sometimes they have to think, what do we need to do to score here? This is a team that was outscored 9-1 here last year in 2 losses.
Novo playing the ball to the edge of the penalty area. First time shot on the edge of the box is scuffed by Anderson. Edmonton just happy to put that one out for another throw-in to Carolina.
They're outnumbering Edmonton in the middle of the park right now, and they're just a lot of numbers for Carolina because they're able to push up. If you take a look at it right now, they have nobody anywhere even near the midfield circle. Their defenders know with this wind, Edmonton can't hammer a ball over their heads. They have really pinched up.
Anderson on the right-hand side. With Knight again there, and it's a nice 1-2, and Al-Badawi can deliver a ball into the box here, and it's Daryl Fordyce back there getting rid of that one. So Carolina having lots of possession inside the Eddies' penalty area, but so far yet to convert that into goals, and it remains 0-0.
But with that win, Carolina's has got 10 guys coming forward that are close to the box. They just know that there's just no way out for Edmonton with this wind in the face.
Richie Jones turns and looks for support and finds it from Niassi. And now it's Roberts. Can't miss him with those colored boots. Are they pink? Certainly very bright.
Might be orange. At least in the same color. I'm not sure about the guys who wear the 2 different color shoes now.
Yeah, that's starting to come in as a trend, isn't it? Right-hand side, it's Niassi, steps inside, left-footed cross, headed away by Carolina nicely. And it's Al-Badawi again, who's seen a lot of the ball in the first quarter of an hour of the match. Knight chips a ball over the midfield. Rodales gets his head on it. It's Al-Badawi again. Looked very assured in the early stages of this match. Neil Laverty against his former club. 51 appearances for FC Edmonton. A real stalwart in the midfield. Roberts does well, brings that down on the chest, pushes it out wide to the right. Niassi's beaten his man. Just gets tackled by a trailing boot there, but it's picked up by Jones. He's hustled off it too. Rodales has it now. Crisp pass for Lang. Lang trying to find Fordyce, who just sidestepped his marker, felt that he should have had a free kick. Referee was on the spot, decided there was nothing wrong with that. Knight playing a long ball forward. Watson, a glanced header to his left, and Moses. Moses picks out Lang again. Lang has played a ball up to Jonky, holds it up nicely, and that's good hold-up play. He's picked out Lang on the chase. Lang's going to try and measure across here to the far post. It's a good one, and Niassi just can't get his head to it. It's got to run all the way out to the far side for a throw-in. Some good link-up play there by Frank Jonky.
Yeah, and that's what he's got to do in these conditions. He's got to be the big man to hold the ball up and give Edmonton a chance to get out of their own end and get some numbers forward. And that's what he's got to do. You know, in the first half, it might not be about scoring goals or creating chances. It's about relieving pressure. Just because you've got to get out of jail every now and then and let yourself reset.
This time FC Edmonton will get a free kick. And this is a dangerous position. Edge of the penalty area. They take it quickly. Rodales sends away Niassi. Near post cross. Defended well by Carolina. Drops on the edge of the box to Moses. Takes a touch. Still going there, but just doesn't fall into his path. And it's away by Wes Knight. Throw-in for FC Edmonton.
The way both teams are packing up and attacking and bringing men forward, this can't be 0-0 for much longer.
Rodales picking out the captain, Albert Watson. 16th minute of the game. Jones to Roberts. Tidy passing there by FC Edmonton, who now have a throw-in. Jonky again, nice hold-up play. Picks out Niassi. Watson's curling cross was looking to find Jones. The Edward might just sneak in there behind the Carolina defense, but they do a good solid job of getting that ball clear. Shipolani switched flanks, and he's trying to have some joy on the left now. Roberts had the better of him that time. It's with Flaherty. On the left-hand side, nicely worked for Anderson. Anderson's cross. One of the few occasions they didn't have too many bodies in the 6-yard box, and it's cleared by Moses. Wes Knight will have the throw. Al-Badawi is the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Niassi bringing it out, supported by Fordyce. And it's with Lang. Al-Badawi's done a good job tracking back, and he's won his team a throw in there. With Neil Flaherty again. Jonky pressures him from behind, and he's got a free kick for that. Maybe a little push in the back against his former teammate, and it's still 0-0 at Clarke Stadium.
A little bit of a calm down period here for the Eddies, where they haven't been under siege and been able to establish a little something in this game, at least get a couple of touches on the ball and get some possession. Carolina's still pushing forward with big numbers.
No goals yet. Carolina with the best chances by far. Still 0-0 at Clarke Stadium. The home fans trying to get the home team back into it, give them a bit of a lift. Right down where the throw-in's about to take place there. That section really buzzing today. And the flags still blowing in the wind, you can see, as FC Edmonton have themselves throw in. With Milan Roberts. Jones in the middle of the field, just lets that one run by for Rodales, and now Moses. It's Lang on the left. Lang's chipped one up in between the defenders looking for Jonky. It was a good pass, but it was well watched all the way by Daniel Scott. Heads that one behind, and it's going to be a corner for FC Edmonton.
Jonky with a thumbs up there. like that ball a lot. That's the one luxury when you are against the wind. You can really thump that ball in, knowing it's going to hold up for you, check up for you. And that's the one thing when you're going into the teeth of it and you get into that attacking third. You know you can really pound the ball into that box and have the wind do you a favor now.
Niasi's going to take this corner. All last season it was Neil Laverty when he was playing. This one's gone along the deck. And it's with Lance Lang, curls it to the far post, headed away by Carolina, drops for Niasi again. Good close control, and not a bad cross into the box again there, but well dealt with once more by Carolina. They've given it away to Rodales, though, and he hits a bit of a grass cutter. Didn't probably get a hold of it the way he would want to, and it's an easy save by Gilstrap.
Yeah, not the way you want to clear your lines if you're the Carolina Railhawks. Presenting the ball back to Rodales. He gets it on the ground, but the bounces stay pretty true there for Hunter Gilstrap, who's able to gather it in. But Edmonton now with a bit of a pushback, and it might be a little bit of a warning for Carolina. If you're going to keep pushing this many men forward, if you're going to keep going the way you're going, we'll be able to maybe get some pressure ourselves and be able to do some things. While they're not really hitting them on the counter, that was more of a sustained attack. There is that warning that the Eddies do have some potency, that they can go the other way.
21 minutes played at Clarke Stadium. No goals so far. We're live on City TV in Edmonton, and welcome to our viewers in Carolina and across the US on ESPN3 today. Here's Van Oekel, and he's once again put in a bit of a dodgy situation by his defense there. Is that another handball on the edge of the area? Referee says there's nothing wrong with it. It's still with Anderson. Maybe a strike here, and it's charged down very well, and Al Badawi will have to settle for a throw-in. Just a couple of moments in the defense there that Colin Miller probably wouldn't want to see.
Yeah, some hesitation. They're not picking up Mark Anderson's runs very well. He's had a couple of chances, the one early in the game, another one about 10 minutes in that forced Matt Van Oekel to some saves. And that time too, they didn't pick him up right away, and they were lucky that ball hit him in the small of the back rather than drop over his shoulder where he would have been running onto it. They've got to do a better job spying on him, because he's been a wild card out there right now. And for a player with his reputation in the league, he's found himself a lot of space out there.
And in this wind, probably not the best tactic to be having so many back passes to Van Oekel. It's very difficult for him to get clearance into this wind. At the other end, it's Lang. Lang chasing with Knight, who's done a good job against him, considering Lang's searing pace. Knight's in a good battle there and has marked him well so far in this match.
Yeah, and I mean, Lance Lang, there's no secret around this league now what he can do. Teams are gonna have spies on him. Jacksonville last week were double teaming at times to try to take him out of the game. Teams now know what Lance Lang does. They saw what he did in the second half of the season last year with all the goals and all the assists, and they're not gonna. There's gonna be no element of surprise now with Lance Lang now since he's moved up to be a full-time left winger and is not a fullback anymore. That teams now, they know that weapon. They know to look out for it.
See, Edmonton have been trying to get him into the game in the early stages on that left-hand side. He's had a couple of runs, a couple of crosses. He's looked dangerous, but Knight has been equal to him so far. Novo making a mazy run down the right-hand side and conceding a free kick there. Maybe just too many flying arms. Van Oekel will come to take this one for the Eddies.
Now you're halfway through the first half, and again with this wind advantage for Carolina, as you can see, Matt Van Oekel struggling to drop even the ball. In Carolina got me thinking we got to score soon, because second half we're going to be going into the teeth of this. We need to have an advantage going ahead, because second half it's going to be all going the other way.
Lang trying to go around the outside, and he's put a great cross into the box, and that's the best break so far for FC Edmonton. But Jonky just sliding and couldn't get on the end of it.
The ball bounces over Jonky. He's trying to get that on the short hop. Bounces over. He just really can't manage it. It was a very, very difficult ball. I think at best, if he makes connection with that, you try to knock that, you try to keep it in the box. Maybe someone else can create a scoring chance off of that.
Once
still
again, shows the danger of Lang. It didn't seem he could get a cross in from that angle, but he still was able to.
Again, when you're, and I don't want to belabor this point too much, but when you've got that wind, it's going to push it back into the box. Even when you think, I'm hitting it at an angle that should maybe go into touch, that wind's going to hold it up and check it up for me. And I think we've seen that a couple of times on crosses.
Fordyce, good pass forward to Jonky and Lang. That's a beautiful raking crossfield pass for Niasse. Niasse's going to shoot himself, and Gilstrap gets down and wasn't going to be beaten on his near post from there.
Very open game, though. There's chances aplenty. A lot of players being running into space on both sides. And Niasse there, great ball from Lang to find him. I think it's the right decision to shoot. You don't try to play that to the middle. See if you can create something. Maybe create a ball in the area, even if you don't score right off the bat. But Gilstrap does well to hold on to it because they're gambling that he won't.
Al-Badawi still getting a lot of space on the right-hand side of midfield and is at the moment the playmaker for Carolina. Osaki's given the ball away there and has conceded a free kick against Frank Jonky. Jonky getting the start the first couple of games up front for FC Edmonton.
Yeah, I think Jonky, we know that he had the concussion, struggled early in the year, then had the concussion, missed a lot of the second half of the season. Had a bit of a stomach ailment that they couldn't figure out until they could get him the medication to control it. He lost a bit of weight, then he realized, wow, I feel a lot better with this weight gone. And he's a little thinner, a little lighter than he was last year, and he's hoping that this is going to be the year that he can show at least that 2014 was a fluke, and that this is the guy that they brought over from Finland in 2013 to really boost the attack.
Free kick for the Eddies. And it's Watson. Pushes the ball for Roberts out on the right. Rodales takes it back. Roberts just pings it along the ground, but a little bit too much fizz in it for Jones there. Couldn't control it. And Roberts will get another chance here. He's going to play that one back to Van Oekel. This time he plays it along the ground out from the goal mouth and finds Watson. Watson left-footed. He was backpedaling a little bit off balance when he cleared that. Going to be Rodales heading this one down for Jones. Jones takes it on the thigh and he's off and running here. Got support from Niasse. Played it nicely in front. Husseini Niasse, good near post cross, and it just didn't reach Jonky. Very good defending on that occasion by Connor Tobin. But the Eddies have got themselves a corner, which Niasse will take.
Niasse's had some moments where he's looked very dangerous, darting in, using that speed. And if they have Lang on one side and Niasse on the other, where they can both run and create some danger and get balls in, this could be a very productive thing for Niasse. Niasse, former MLS player, people will remember him, New England Revolution. His brother plays for San Jose Earthquakes, his twin brother, Sano.
Not a bad corner, and Rodales looks for the volley, and that was nicely played, and he wasn't too far away. And it's going to be a goal kick, but surprised that he probably got the chance. I think there was an infringement spotted in there anyway, but an acrobatic volley.
That would have been something. Actually, would have been a bigger deflation had that gone in and been called back. Because when you score a spectacular one and it gets called back for that infraction, it's all a little bit more deflating. But brave effort, and as mentioning before with Husseini Niasse, the one thing that you can't debate about him is his quickness on the pitch. And if he can bring that element on both sides, where Edmonton's already got Lang on the left and him on the right, it's going to be a real addition for the Eddies.
Eddie Edwards showing some good quickness at the other end. There he is too, outpacing his marker. Didn't need to do anything in the end. The ball ran out for a goal kick for FC Edmonton. Goalless here at Clarke Stadium, and we're approaching the half-hour mark of the Eddies' home opener.
Flags are bent right over right now, behind on the sides of Matt Van Oekel. It's the kind of, and no one's presenting a short option for him. We're going to kick this into the wind, I guess.
Van Oekel, one of 4 Eddies goalies on the roster this season. Smits had been on loan for a 5-day period with Montreal. He's back. Van Oekel still getting the nod. And then Farago, who played a great game towards the end of last season. And Christian Kaiswatam, another goalkeeper for the Eddies.
NASL Team of the Week, the one week that Tyson Farago from Winnipeg played. against Atlanta, I think.
Kaiswatan, local lad, grew up in downtown Edmonton, one of the many local players the Eddies have in their ranks. Throw in for Edward here. And he finds Roberts. That's another one of the local lads from FC Edmonton, Milan Roberts. And he steps into this right-footed pass. He's given that one away, not his best. And Watson backpedaling towards goal. We'll leave this one for Van Oekel to pick up. And then sends it out wide right again to Roberts. Rodales made a good break from midfield there. Chipped one over the top. I don't think it had the power he thought it might. Drops to Fordyce on the edge of the area. And Carolina scrambling that one away. Watson winning it back very quickly. Good tackle. And that's a good pass inside the fullback. But Knight has hit that one over the top of the stadium. Good thing they've got other balls in the stands here, because Lang can take it quickly. Now Moses. Good curling cross to the far post, and that was a menacing ball in. And Saini Niassi almost got on the end of it, and it's another corner.
Yeah, Niassi was sneaking in on the backside there. This looks to be a new thing they're doing. Lance Lang took all the corners last year. I mean, he scored directly off a corner last year in Ottawa. And now if you take a look, the setup is he goes right to the top of the area, right, and they're trying to play that ball out to him with his left foot, thinking that if anything pops at the top of the box, Lance Lang is going to have a go. Very interesting that they've set this up so differently this year, because Lang was pretty well automatic that he was taking all these set pieces in the second half of the season last year.
Rodales has just gone off the pitch for some equipment issues, and the corner does take place though. Niassi plays it short, then gets the ball back. He's going to try and swerve this one in with the left peg. They're appealing for handball in the penalty area there. I think it was probably more ball to hand, and the referee waved it away.
Yeah, I don't think the Carolina player would have known much about that one. Quick ball played in.
Referee Juan Marquez has been on the spot for every decision so far in this match.
There's another goal kick from our kick from Van Oekel that just died in the wing.
Niassi looking for the 1-2 with Jonky. He's been bailed over, but Jonky continues his run down the right-hand side. Held up the ball well again, and opts for the left-footed cross, and unfortunately he wasn't in the middle himself, and so it was easy for Gilstrap. Meantime, Niassi will get some treatment here. He had been taken down on that break down the right flank, and he's remonstrating with the referee that perhaps there should have been some sort of free kick, and gesturing with his hands, but he's going to be okay to carry on.
Something interesting is, and we take a look at the here. Oh yeah, he gets just pushed over there off the ball. But Saini Niassi, one of the reasons he decided to come to Edmonton is his brother Santa played for Montreal last year, and when Montreal, who we all know is going to the CONCACAF Champions League final, were almost eliminated by FC Edmonton at the first round of the Canadian, or the second round of the Canadian Championship. Santa played for that Montreal team and told his brother, FC Edmonton's a very good team, you should go play there.
Rodales, nice little flick. Laverty wins a free kick, wins a throw-in rather, against Moses.
And again, you know, the Impact are going to play Club America for the CONCACAF Champions League title, and closest anyone's come to knocking Montreal out was FC Edmonton that first round of the Canadian Championship. Montreal got a 96th minute penalty in the second leg, or else Edmonton had it.
Neil Laverty looking for a long-range effort, left-footed. Van Oekel makes the save. It was probably going wide.
But honestly, in this win, having a goal kick is a disadvantage. You may as well catch it and see if you can get a short option. But at Carolina, see, they're pressing up. They're taking that option away. They're saying, you got to kick it over us. You can see it just dies. No distance. I mean, he got out as much as he could at the top of the box. He could barely get it to half.
Edward going back towards his own goal there, and this time the free kick has gone to Carolina, and this is a good position for them with the wind advantage. Whip this into the penalty box. Every orange shirt has gone forward. We have 10 minutes to halftime, and they will want to get on the scoreboard with the wind advantage in the first half, Carolina. Referee just trying to stop the pushing and shoving that seems to be happening in the penalty area. Anderson waiting to take it on the left-hand side. It's gone towards the near post and flashing across the face of goal. I think there was an offside spotted in there by the linesman in any event, and so it wouldn't have counted.
Flicks off Jonke first, and then
good reaction header, but it wouldn't have counted with the flag up.
Quite sure who had that flashing second header for Carolina there, but again, the danger of trying to defend that when you're going into the wind.
Nice play by Al-Badawi again, and Anderson helping it onto the left-hand side. Shipalani tries to go around Edward. Good first-time tackle by Eddie Edward. Well read there to make that challenge.
But you're right, Gareth. Like, Carolina has about 10 minutes to make this wind advantage count. They've had some great chances. There's no doubt about it. But they haven't beat Matt Van Oekel yet. And when this advantage switches around in the second half, Carolina's going to have to fight into the teeth of this wind. And you want to do that with some padding, with an advantage. You want to make that press. It's why you want to take the wind in the first half with fresh legs. You want to be able to push the other team back and make them run a bit. But if you come out even, then the advantage totally flips around, and the plan kind of backfires on you. So they really need to get one at least in the next 8-9 minutes, or else this becomes advantage FC Edmonton going to the second half.
Lang's going to drill this one low, away by Knight. And into touch, throw in for FC Edmonton.
Smart by Lang. Knowing the conditions, knowing that ball on the ground can cause trouble.
Moses this time puts it up into the mixer there. It's headed away well. Drops down for Fordyce to just play in the cushioned header for Watson. Watson back to Van Oekel, and look at that. He's not even able to get that to halfway, and once again that ball just, the wind takes it into touch. It's very difficult for him to get any kind of distance from inside his penalty area with those kinds of back passes.
And that wind, it just puts so much backspin on the ball too. You see when it hits that first bounce on the turf, it starts bouncing back towards you.
Carolina have traditionally found it difficult here. Lost 6-1 and 3-0 here last season, and found the conditions difficult. Well, they played the conditions well today, and really could have been 3-0 up inside the first 10 minutes. And we'll have to wonder why, with just a few minutes to half-time here, it's still goalless.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling when we show the halftime highlights, it's going to be the Matt Van Oekel show. We're going to be seeing a lot of that man in the pink, violet, purple, I don't know what you want to call the keeper's color of jersey. But he was very disappointed with his performance in that first game against Jacksonville. And I think, talk about redemption, he's proved a point here in the first half. Brought in from Minnesota in this offseason, and given the #1 job.
Able to get more distance with it off the ground there, but Carolina still looking very strong in the center of their defense. Laverty getting a header through the middle. The referee felt that the elbow that he was using to get some leverage might have given him an unfair advantage there. Free kick for FC Edmonton. Fordyce trying to carry the play down the right-hand side. That's a good pass down the line for Edward. First time cross into the middle. There's Lang, and he just couldn't get his right foot on the ball. Danger not cleared yet for Carolina. It's with Moses infield for Fordyce. He's going to try a strike from that range, and again, bobbles it all the way to the goalkeeper. Haven't had the shooting boots on in the first half, the Eddies.
No, but these attacks have been important because they've pushed Carolina back. Carolina's got that win advantage right now. You want to be at least getting that possession, the Carolina's final third, because that means that they're not attacking you with this advantage. I mean, if the conditions are different, you might say, okay, we've spurned some chances, but you know you're going to get chances in the second half when these conditions turn around, or basically the field turns around.
5 minutes to halftime, still 0-0. That's why the Eddies have conceded a free kick, some holding by Watson. Might have been some backing in as well, but referee explaining to Albert Watson why that is a free kick, and Neil Laverty will have this free kick against his old club, and he plays it to the edge of the box. He's found Shipalani. And now Knight trying to tee it up. The long-range effort that's bobbling around, but Wagner manages to play it out wide to the left. Good move by Carolina. In comes the cross. There's the chance, and there's the goal, and volleyed into the back of the net by Novo, who's on the score sheet again, and Carolina take a 1-0 lead.
Well, it was coming, and that time Novo sneaks away, and goal scorers just have this ability to find dead spaces in the penalty area. See him sneak away, back post. No one's marking Novo at the back post. For a person or a player of his pedigree, scored so many goals for Rangers, scored so many goals in Europe. That's child's play. Side foot, cushion this top corner. No chance for Matt Van Oekel, but no one marking him at the back post.
Novo gives Carolina the lead. And we have 4 minutes to halftime at Clarke Stadium.
Richie Jones tried to spray that ball to Lance Lang on the wing during one of the wind gusts, and it just came back at him. Or just basically didn't move at all forward. Just went straight to touch.
Well, a well-worked free kick conceded by Albert Watson. And the Eddies punished for it. Novo on the end of it, a very accomplished finish on the volley, and a 1-0 lead for Carolina. Edmonton trying to come back.
Talks about how huge it would be for Carolina to get that goal before the half, before the teams have to switch sides, and Edmonton gets that wind advantage. So big goal for Carolina. Takes a little bit of the pressure off, but they know that Edmonton's going to come in the second half.
Laverty intercepts a misplaced pass by Watson, and it's Shipalani on the right-hand side. Roberts will clear that one easily. Picked up in the midfield. Jonke's trying to win it back, but good play by Osaki. In the end, Carolina just blazing that one through the other end of the pitch and conceding the goal kick.
I'm sure when Colin Miller and his staff and the team look at the tape of that goal by Nacho Novo, they're going to look at that him at the back post with no one marking him and saying, boy, did we make that awfully easy for him. No one challenging him. Left our keeper sort of hanging out to dry there.
There's the keeper, Matt Van Oekel, with the goal kick. Jonke looking perhaps for a free kick. Goes down with the sliding tackle against Osaki and played down the right-hand side for Niasi. He won't get to that one. Throw in for Carolina. 2 minutes to half-time. Edmonton trail by 1-0. Well, the atmosphere killed a little bit for the home crowd with that goal. Many of them have left their seats, I think, on their way for some half-time refreshments. Al-Badawi for Carolina. Tackled from behind by Jones. Says he got the ball, but another free kick conceded here. We know how dangerous Carolina can be from here.
Yeah, at the start of the game, Environment Canada had it at 8 Celsius. sort of doesn't, with this wind, doesn't feel like 8 Celsius.
Some people in the crowd actually wrapped in blankets here. It's pretty cool conditions at Clarke Stadium, especially with the sun in and the wind howling like this. And he went for the strike there, comes back off the wall. Laverty will drill it towards goal. That's gone very high and wide. One last goal kick for Van Oekel here. There's only going to be a minute of added time in this first half, so FC Edmonton will try and launch another attack here. Lang on the left-hand side. Free kick given against the Eddies.
And I think in Carolina, you want to push. You want this last minute try to create one more chance, because again, you want to pile on this advantage, knowing that Edmonton's going to be going with the wind in the second half. I think this is maybe Gilstrap's going to have a long. I think Gilstrap could reach the goal from here with that wind behind his back, no problem.
Played it to the edge of the penalty area. Edward wins the header. There's Richie Jones, tackled from behind. Well played again by Anderson. Fordyce winning it back. Edward to Niassi. Niassi goes for a run on that right-hand side, stretches his legs a bit, puts in the cross. It might drop for Lance Lang, and he's got one back for FC Edmonton. Would you believe it? Stoppage time in the first half. Niassi makes a break down the right, and Lang benefits from some poor marking at the other end to hold the Eddies level. It's 1-1.
Darryl was talking about Carolina trying to get one more chance to double the advantage, and Edmonton erases that advantage. Great run by Saini Niassi coming down the wing. Cross that gets to the top of the box, and Lang side foots that home. It's really, really well done. A composed finish. And he did that with his right foot, Lance Lang. He can score with his right foot. There you go. Lance Lang, a right-footed goal, and it's all even. But what work by Saini Niassi going down in the right wing. He's been dangerous down that right wing all afternoon.
And that was pretty much the last kick of the first half. A collector's item, right-footed goal by Lance Lang to pull the Eddies level, 1-1 at half-time, when the atmosphere had just gone a little flat, seemed to be struggling a little bit, and in first half stoppage time, it's Lance Lang who gives the Eddies an equalizing goal and makes it 1-1 here at Clarke Stadium. Nacho Novo had put Carolina ahead, and in truth, before that, Carolina had several chances, even in the first 10 minutes, to be 3 up. But Matt Van Oekel had put on a goalkeeping clinic for FC Edmonton.
And honestly, Matt Van Oekel had no chance at all on Novo's goal, but anything that Matt Van Oekel could get to, he stopped. Still, I mean, Lance Lang has the goal. We talked about Saini Niassi going down the right wing, but Matt Van Oekel right now is player of the match in this first half, because it really could have been three or four for Carolina in this first half, if not for some outstanding, brave goalkeeping from Matt Van Oekel.
We'll be hearing from both coaches in the halftime show, brought to you by Oodle Noodle at Clarke Stadium. Colin Miller and Colin Clarke, of course, from Carolina, joining us pitch side any moment here. After that 1-1 first half, Carolina might feel they could have had quite the lead. But as it is, it's 1-1. Colin Clarke joining us. Thanks, Colin. Your team probably could have been 3 up in the first 10 minutes. You finally got ahead and then conceding one late. What's your assessment of the first half there?
Pretty much it. Very disappointed right now that we're not 3 or 4 up. Very disappointed we're only 1-1. It's going to be a tough second half.
What about the conditions in the second half against the wind?
Yeah, it's going to be, like you said, against the wind. They're going to be putting a lot of balls forward, a lot of balls in our box that we're going to have to deal with. So we've got to show some character and heart and be able to play when we get the ball and move it and, you know, release that pressure, but also look to get forward and score another goal.
Thanks for your time again, Colin.
Thank you.
Colin Clarke joining us pitch side, and as he said, they're pretty disappointed he doesn't have a bigger lead at halftime. We'll hear right away from Colin Miller with Steve.
So we have Coach Miller on the line, and Coach, we talked about the slow starts to games earlier this week, and gave a lot of chances early. Matt Van Oekel, very, very big for you.
Yeah, he's made a couple of saves early on, Steve. Absolutely, you know, I don't want to go too crazy here at halftime when I go in the change room, because I could I could toss a coin and it could be anyone involved in it. Just a very poor defensive performance again. I'm thinking bad words in my head here, but I can't say them. But you know, it just shows us we have one piece of quality from Saini and a great finish from Lange, and we're back in it again. But goodness me, we can't defend it in that way, in any way, shape or form. If we expect to survive and try and make a championship out of this, there's no question. It's very poor defensively. Can make excuses for wind and all sorts of different things, but it's just been poor. You'd think the guys had never met each other before, and that's a disappointing thing, the work that we do during the week. So we'll correct one or two things. One or two are under pressure for the first 10 minutes. If they don't wake up, then they'll be sitting on the bench.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, you could always bank on 100% honesty from Colin Miller, and there he didn't pull any punches at all about the first half performance of FC Edmonton. But they're on level terms against Carolina after Lang's stoppage time equalizer. Half-time is 1-1.
Steeman. I'm your Sun Junior reporter for April 12th. I'm here with Kareem Moses, number 12 with FC Edmonton. My first question is, what do you like best about playing for FC Edmonton?
I think what I like the most is the fans. The guys that I share the dressing room with is excellent. There's the culture and the people in Edmonton. How the way they treat me and stuff, and playing for FC Edmonton helps me a lot in what I do. I like to bring smiles on faces, just like yours.
Thanks for listening, everyone. My name is Nia Steven, and I'm your Sun Junior reporter signing out.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome back to Clarke Stadium. The halftime show brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Gareth Hampshire alongside Steve Sandor, 1-1 at halftime here at Clarke Stadium. Novo putting Carolina ahead, and Lance Lang getting the Eddies back on level terms right in stoppage time of the first half there. So an exciting first 46 minutes because there was just that 1 minute added on when Lang scored and really made it count. First half highlights brought to you by Cap City Landscaping. And this is going to be a lot of Matt Van Oekel here.
Well, first I'm going to show the Novo goal here. Cross from Osaki comes in. Novo left alone at the back post. Right-footed, cushioned over Matt Van Oekel. I think this is going to be the Eddie's goal. Saini Niasi going on the run up the right wing. Nice cross. One bounce, two bounces. Lance Lang against the grain with his right foot. I mean, the keepers reacted, Gilstraps reacted very quickly, but Lang with a right-footed effort and the sucker punch to tie this game.
Questions about the marking for both teams for both goals there. Novo and Lang benefiting from being left alone in the penalty box in the first half, and that's where we are at the moment. 1-1. Stay with us. The second half is coming up next at a chilly, breezy Clarke Stadium in Edmonton. Welcome back to the Canadian Tire home opener at Clarke Stadium. 1-1 at halftime. Carolina about to kick us off in the second half here. FC Edmonton will be kicking from left to right. There we are in that broadcast booth at the top, Steve and I. And that's the Supporters Club watching from section 107. And we're underway in the second half. 1-1 at halftime. The Eddies playing with the wind advantage in this second half, though. Gusts of up to 60 km/h winds. And Carolina had the wind at their backs in the first half, but didn't really take full advantage of it. And even though they were 1-0 up, Lang squared things up in stoppage time, and that's a pretty nice crossfield ball to get things going in the second half by Niasi to the edge of the box, and Jones look for the chip shot. It's charged down by Carolina. Niasi with the outside of the right foot strikes towards goal, but an early save by Gilstrap.
Now we'll see how the Eddies pressure. I already can see right now the Eddies are still fading players back. They're not pressing quite as high up as Carolina did in the first half. And Gilstrap got some nice distance on that into the wind. It wasn't quite blowing as hard, but still.
Carolina only ahead for 5 minutes. The goal by Novo in the 40th minute. And Lang scored with the last kick of the first half. No substitutions for either team yet, but Colin Miller did say if some of the players don't improve their performances, they'll be sitting on the bench pretty quickly. So I'm sure he relayed that message in the dressing room. Niasi on the right-hand side has a run at the defense, looked to pull a trick on his marker there, but wasn't able to get around Blake Wagner, who read that well.
That message might not have been relayed in the dressing room in as family-friendly a fashion as it was to us.
Yeah, I think he said that there were words swinging around in his head that he didn't want to repeat on the broadcast, so he probably did save that for the players. Chance for Lang on the left-hand side to put in a cross. There are appeals for handball, but the Eddies will settle for a corner on the left-hand side.
We'll take it that we got the PG version of the halftime team talk.
Probably a good thing that those words did stay in his head. But that's what you always get with Colin Miller. He doesn't generally pull any punches, and he was clearly a little bit disappointed in some of the players from the way they equipped themselves, especially in the first 10 minutes when Van Oekel really did save Edmonton.
And again, Lance Lang set up far back, well back behind the penalty area to run onto anything that comes out.
Nice curling cross by Niasi. It drops to Rodales, and he's driven a good volley towards goal. Again, he's been close from a couple of the set pieces, and that one just hooking wide of the post, but a good, sensible effort, especially noticing the goalkeeper was off his line.
Yeah, and Kareem Moses comes in late here. You'll see that he, if it's just timed a little better, if he can hang in, may have had a chance to knock this into the open goal, but just over the, well, not so much just, but over the shoulder and out. But good idea by Rodales just to throw that back into the mixer.
I think there's some concern for Daniel Scott, who went down there. He was one of 3 players in that collision, Scott, Jonke, and the goalkeeper, Gilstrap. Gilstrap comes out to punch, gets the ball, and then gets Jonke's head. And then I think it's the way Scott falls that is awkward there. And he hasn't got up since, and the trainer is now on. But clearly some problem for Scott down there.
Carolina only brought 4 substitutes today. They had some injury issues, and as we've seen before in this league, there's some immigration issues. Teams struggle sometimes coming up to Canada to get the paperwork done, and so Carolina is running with a very thin bench today.
One of the players on the bench, Chris Nurse, former Eddies player. We may see him at some point in the game. I know you talked to him just before the match today, Steve.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Guyanese national team, and former Toronto FC player Emery Welshman there asked him what he thought of him and said he really likes him as a player. So I know people across Canada watching the game follow Toronto FC. Emery Welshman comes from Southern Ontario and is now trying to make that Guyanese national team, and Chris Nurse told me how impressed he was by him.
That stoppage there because of Scott's injury will certainly mean there'll be some time added on at the end of the 90 minutes there. Knight blasting the ball into the stands on the far side of the field. Eddies have got to throw in. Moses playing it back into the path of Watson. nice pass to the left flank by Albert Watson, and Moses' cross holds up in the air. Edge of the area, might drop for Rodales again, but Carolina do a good job defensively there. Roberts gets on the end of that one before Novo can, and all the way back to Van Oekel.
And we'll see the difference here when Van Oekel's kicking out from this way, how much further the ball will travel.
Roberts infield to Rodales. Rodales dispossessed by Al-Badawi, who's played a very fine game so far for Carolina. Van Oekel's ball over the top, headed away by Connor Tobin, but a definite push on Jonky just before he won the header, spotted by the referee. Fordyce sweeping it out wide to the left. They're trying to get Lang involved again. Lang looking to go inside this time, onto his right foot, looked for the curling shot, and went close again. Gilstrap going down to make the save.
Gilstrap waited for that in the short hop, and that can be a little bit tricky sometimes here on the surface. I think can skid a little bit on the artificial surface, especially when it's cooler. When that surface gets colder, it runs faster. Artificial surface is a little bit different than grass in the way that it reacts that way. That can really react to the weather. It plays a lot quicker when it cools down.
Nice play switch by Carolina. Laverty to Novo. And now Wagner. Osaki picking out Laverty again there, just miscontrolled it. Ball goes into touch, it'll be a throw in for FC Edmonton. 1-1 the score, as Roberts brings this ball out of defense, and Rodales become a fixture in that anchor midfield role for FC Edmonton, and it's gone close a couple of times with some impressive volleys in this match. Niasi's going to leave the ball for Edward to take the throw in. See, it's not warm on the pitch. Edward actually wearing gloves down there, even though the sun is peeking through the clouds in the second half here in Edmonton, Alberta. Jonky tries to cushion the header for Niasi. Even Niasi can't keep that one in. And it'll be a throw in for Carolina.
Albert Watson and Daryl Fordyce, two Northern Irish players, are the only ones in shirt sleeves out there. The Canadian guys have gloves and undershirts on.
Richie Jones, the other one from Manchester. This would be great weather for Manchester. Fordyce getting around his marker there, but played through to Al-Badawi. Novo on the left-hand side. Tries to thread that one through the middle. Watson gets on the end of it, and Fordyce hooking that one away. Lang's pace has taken him to that ball very nicely, and he's support from Fordyce. Just seemed to stand on the ball there as Fordyce played it back to him. And Al-Badawi's got space to run into here. Finds Novo. And he spotted Knight unmarked on the right-hand side, and there's an overlapping run by Osaki here. Pulls back the cross and headed away by Rodales, well positioned in the penalty area. Richie Jones playing that one up to Jonky, a bit of a heavy first touch.
Edmonton is not pressing the keeper with the wind in his face like Carolina was pressing Matt Van Oekel. Carolina was pushing players onto those defenders and onto the keeper, saying you got to hit this thing over us. Edmonton's not attacking with the same kind of fervor with the wind at their back that Carolina did in the first half.
Breaking field by Niasi. Jones to the edge of the box. Jonky trying to thread it through for Fordyce, just couldn't find him, and Anderson will get that one away.
We see Carolina now having to build up a lot, balls on the ground. Can't pop that ball over the top, which we were having such success with early in this match. They just can't do it with the conditions now, with the wind in their faces. So now Carolina having to build balls on the ground through the middle, which wasn't the way they were going in the first half, and they're doing a lot of route one and having a lot of success with it.
10 minutes into the second half, still 1-1. Game not in any real pattern yet in this second half. Home crowd still singing away, trying to get the best out of FC Edmonton. Novo down the right-hand side for Carolina. Shipolani's got the pace to get on the end of that one and goes around the outside, looks to get the cross in, but will win a corner kick for his team.
Shipolani had the Kareem Moses turn there for a second, had him on the wrong shoulder, but Kareem Moses was able to recover, get back. Thought that for a second Shipolani may have had room to squeeze through along the back line, get towards goal. Neil Blavity taking the set piece for his new team. He's played it to the edge of the penalty area. Anderson on the volley. And that's a play that Edmonton have tried in this match. Carolina having a go for it there, but Anderson not able to hit the target. You know, I really like this on corners, to actually pull someone that you know is a goal scorer outside the area. We're seeing the Eddies do it with Lance Lang right now. We're seeing Carolina do it with Mark Anderson. I'm a big believer that sometimes your best goal scorer, you've got to play him facing goal where he's running onto the ball rather than trying to back up and with his back to goal. And give that player a chance. That ball pops out of the mixer to run onto it and have a go. Really like this. Both coaches going with this look.
Ryan Roberts across the back four, picks out Watson.
See the fouls there, the Railhawks, four up, I guess we can say. 13-9 on the Eddies, but not a dirty game by any stretch of the imagination.
No, played in a good spirit this match so far. Players showing respect for each other. A couple of strong challenges, but nothing that you wouldn't see in any game. Jones switching play to the right wing. He's just got enough on it to find Edward. Edward tries to go around the outside and pull back the cut back to the far post. Niasi will keep that one in. There's still a chance for FC Edmonton. Near post cross. Jones is in there. Carolina getting rid of that one from the danger zone. Roberts winning it back though. This is some good pressure by FC Edmonton. Roberts from the right-hand side. Oohs and ahs from the crowd, but never really threatening Gilstrap.
I'm pretty sure he meant that to be a cross. But Milan Roberts, again, with that win, pinches up and gets onto that clearance. And is able to bring that ball back into the area. Be very, very aggressive when the other team's got it. They can't prove that they can get that ball over your heads. Push your defenders forward. Gilstrap's leg has been impressive into the win. Really getting it to half like he is pretty impressive.
Good performances by both goalkeepers today, Gilstrap and Van Oekel. 1-1 the score, approaching the hour mark in this match at Clarke Stadium. Winning a free kick this time. It's been a real tussle between him and Connor Tobin.
Yeah, the 213s, they've had a couple of wrestling matches.
Jones is going to strike one, knowing the wind's behind him. Wasn't a bad try, but again, Gilstrap very quickly across his line now. Shipolani on the right-hand side. Game nowhere near as open as the first half when there are chances at both ends, many of them.
Carolina player down there behind the play.
Ends up being a yellow card for Kareem Moses, and not sure really how much he knew about that. It was a clash of heads. I think it was a genuine attempt for the ball, but it does end up as a yellow card for Moses.
Yeah, Saki with down. You're always concerned with an injury to the head.
One of those balls he had to go for. It wasn't as if it was a flying elbow, but I think the referee just feeling perhaps too aggressive in the challenge. And the first yellow card of the match goes to Kareem Moses.
Chris Nurse is being prepared on the Carolina bench. He's got the strip off. They're going over some diagrams with him. He's ready to go in the game. So it's just a matter of who Chris Nurse is going to come on and replace. Earlier, Carolina only has 4 players on the bench.
There is Moses, ball over the top, and they try and find the midfield runner, but not able to pick him out, and it goes out for a goal kick.
And of the 4 players Carolina has on the bench, one of them is a keeper, Brian Sylvester, former Whitecaps keeper. So really, Colin Clarke has three options. He doesn't have another option other than the 3 guys on the bench. So it's not like he has that ability to say, well, do I want to go offensive, defensive? Like, this is what I have in front of me.
Well, we are going to see Chris Nurse because he's making his way to the halfway line where he's about to make an entrance. Al-Badawi, meantime, good footwork again from him. But intercepted by Fordyce, and Edward clears it. Good work by Jonke. Out of play, it'll be a throw-in for Carolina, and here's the chance for the substitution to take place, and it's going to be Mark Anderson that Nurse will replace. So now we've got 3 ex-Edmonton players on the pitch: Laverty, Knight, and Chris Nurse.
Very, very defensively oriented move from Colin Clarke here, putting on Nurse, who's a holding midfielder, in for Anderson, who's an attacking player. Is this a sign that Carolina might say, hey, we're going against the wind, and maybe that's 1-1 is a pretty good result in Edmonton, considering our team's history here, that we come to Edmonton and get thumped pretty good when we come up here, so 1-1's a good result. And to me, this looks like a have what we hold kind of, have what we have kind of result or decision from Colin Clarke by bringing in Chris Nurse to shore up that area in front of the back 4 and taking out Mark Anderson, who had a lot of chances early in this game to score.
Well, the Eddie's players better have their heads up now with Nurse on the pitch, because you know that he's going to fly into challenges, and that's often the way he makes his impact. And there he is, right on the edge of the penalty area. Straight away putting in a good challenge, and FC Edmonton were a little vulnerable there, but do manage to get the ball away from the danger zone.
The one thing Chris Nurse brings to any team that he's on is, you know that everyone on the other team is thinking about him. They know where he is on the pitch at all times. It was like that when he was an Eddie's player. It's like that when he plays for other teams. And you can kind of almost get too worried about Chris Nurse.
And he's actually getting some boos on the pitch whenever he touches the ball, which is always a good sign of respect for a player. But maybe some hard feelings the last time he played here. A couple of tough challenges out there, one in particular against young Sadi Jalali, and perhaps the fans have remembered that.
Yeah, Chris was with the Strikers last year when he did that. And concussed Sadi Jalali, and after the game said to me, hey, look, that kid and me are good friends. I would never intentionally go out to hurt him.
Yellow card for Wagner. The second player to go in the referee's book. Again, not a dirty game, just a couple of challenges that referees felt that he's had to penalise. Nothing really more than a push there, but perhaps the ref feeling that it spurned an attacking opportunity. another yellow card presented. Both left backs in the book.
We haven't had to talk too much about the match official today, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, had a good game, the ref. Watson playing on across the back four and finding Roberts. Good ball forward to the edge of the box from Jonke. Rodales has found Lang in space on the wing. Lang tried the first time cross, it's charged down. Moses has it back, and he'll send Lang away on a run again. And Lang wins a corner kick for FC Edmonton.
We'll go back and see Niasi take this. Yep, he's jogging over to the spot.
66 minutes on the watch, 1-1 the score. Much tighter second half. I wonder if Colin Miller's considering any potential substitutions as well.
See that corner flag just waving behind him. It was actually bent over a second ago.
Swinging corner that's gone deep. Roberts gets his head on it. It's a little bit too far and goes behind. It's going to be a goal kick. He makes a run in behind the defence, but the flag was up very early there. And offside given against him.
Yeah, we'll see what Colin Miller does on the Edmonton side. We saw Nurse come in on the Carolina side, but does he feel that to press Carolina a little bit more? Does he want to freshen up the attack a bit? He's got some strikers on the bench, some fresh legs. Yankees putting yeoman's work holding the ball up for long periods of time in this game, and sort of a thankless job, especially in the first half. Edmonton trying to get pressure. Do you put in some fresh legs? And at what point do you think about it?
In the midfield, dispossessed by Rodales and then tugs it in a little bit. Free kick given by the referee again, right on the spot. Wagner holding up play. He'll have to be careful because he's already in the book. Rodales takes the free kick. $15 fouls to 10. How it breaks down. The Railhawks with 15, Edmonton 10. Fordyce, sweeping ball to the flank in Niasi. He's got inside his marker there, Wagner, and stayed on his feet when some players might have looked for a penalty kick there. In the end, Carolina get the ball clear. Roberts has played one deep into the box there, and Gilstrap goes up and makes the claim, and the flag was also up for an offside too.
Yeah, Niasi got bumped there by Wagner, shoulder to shoulder. I think if he would have gone down, it would have been Carolina would have been very hard done by if that would have been called a foul. Defenders allowed to get in there, allowed to have the space. He's going shoulder to shoulder. It was a good battle. It was good to see though Niasi stay on his feet. Too many times we see players go down looking for something, and I mean I hate to say it, but it's a sad state when we have to point out when a player does stay on his feet and does the right thing like Niasi did.
Good honesty from Saini Niasi there, and here he is on the ball again. He's certainly added some drive down that right wing for FC Edmonton. He's tackled by Nurse this time, but Edward takes it back off Nurse. And it's back with Niasi running inside the penalty area, still going. Jonke on the edge of the penalty box. Oscar Haukson is getting ready to come on for the Eddies, the Icelandic player, one of the new signings. But that will be when there's a stoppage in play. At the moment, the Eddies are having a good spell, but here is the stoppage. Niasi has gone down injured, and the referee stopping play for him to get perhaps some treatment here, and he is waving on the trainer at this point. So Haukson looks like we're going to see him. The first time the home fans will have had the chance to watch it.
It looks like Michael Nani is getting ready as well on the Edmonton side. But Haukson on loan to Edmonton from Reykjavik. I wonder if this is like a normal summer day in Reykjavik. But the conditions shouldn't bother him too much. But Haukson, Icelandic player, has played a couple times with the Icelandic national team. Likes to play on the right side. A player that Colin Miller talked quite a bit about. Loves the way he can pick out a pass, and he's going to make his NASL debut as soon as we get through this break. Is Lance Lang coming out of the game? Interesting decision here by Colin Miller. Lance Lang, the goal scorer, is being asked to leave this game, and Oscar Haukson coming in. So
not sure that Lang can quite believe it. He seemed a little stunned when his number was raised, stood there for a few seconds, but is now running off.
Yeah, it was almost like the who me.
Yeah.
It's not something we see happen very often, is Lance Lang coming out of the game.
Lang gets a good reception from the home supporters. Colin Miller shakes his hand. Double substitution for the Eddies with 18 minutes to go. And we're going to see Noni come on at any point.
Niasi just gets back on the field, given permission by the officials to go back on. So the Eddies back to 11.
Bit of a unique atmosphere at the stadium today, thanks to the Morningwood Rovers supporters that are here and putting on a show for the fans and trying to get behind the home team. Good tackle by Yonki, edge of the penalty area. He's dispossessed there. Al-Badawi playing it forward. And that ball's gone out of play. It'll be another throw-in for the Eddies. 1-1, it's all to play for. And here we are going to see Noni. And this is the second substitution, and they're basically changing both wingers here because Niasi, who's hobbling off a little bit from that last challenge too, is going to be replaced.
I think this is a case of fresh legs. I think this is a case where they want to press and bring some players forward. Noni's had some very, very bright starts or bright moments last year. I think none brighter than when he scored that winning goal against Montreal in the first leg of the Amway Canadian Championship.
Well, we know that Noni's got some terrific pace when he gets to run at players, and he's got a good strike on him as well. He's got a chance, and Haukson also on. First time that the home fans will be watching him. He wears number 11 for FC Edmonton. Here he is, Haukson, left-footed, and his first pass just goes a bit awry and will be picked up by the goalkeeper.
Haukson switched over right away from that left wing spot to take a more central spot, but gone back to the left.
Flags up again on this near side. Referee acknowledging that free kick given to Carolina. Last 15 minutes of the match now. Colin Miller rolled the dice, couple of substitutions. Carolina, they've made one, bringing on Nurse and taking off possibly the more attack-minded Anderson. Watson deciding to concede a throw-in. To the penalty area, Wagner just playing it along the ground, trying to find Laverty. Noni gets his foot in. sliding tackle by Watson, and now Houghton chipping it over the top, looking for the run of Richie Jones. Jones almost got there. When he gets those legs moving, he can cover the ground quickly. It's Noni on the right-hand side. Just tried to slip it to the overlapping Edward, but didn't quite get enough purchase on it. Laverty's dispossessed by Roberts. It's Michael Noni again. From the right-hand side, picks out Milan Roberts.
Carolina's Edmonton has it here. It's 9 men behind the ball here. Only Nacho Novo is ahead of the ball right now. So Carolina really trying to consolidate here. I think they're very happy to get out of here at 1-1.
Cross coming into the penalty area. Punched away by Gilstrap, an interesting choice there, and Rodala's driving it back in, and that's gone over the angle.
I'm not sure why Gilstrap wouldn't try to catch that ball. Punching it back out into the mixer, especially you punch that right up to the center of the area. It doesn't matter where it falls. It's not really the place you want to be sending that ball. But gets away with it. Here we see him decide to punch this.
Not really under any pressure there.
No, and puts it right back to the top of the box, which is not where you want to be punching the ball to. You're trying to punch that ball out of danger, not into another spot where you can give up a shot and goal.
Free kick for Carolina here, the score 1-1. Critical period of the match now. Colin Clarke up from the dugout for Carolina, waving his men forward. I think he's noticing that lying very, very deep. Throw-in is for FC Edmonton.
I think this stop and start pace we're seeing right now favors Carolina. Again, it looks to me like they're consolidating what they have, and I think they're happy if this game doesn't really have a flow to it at the moment.
A little bit scrappy in the closing stages, that's for sure. Stakes high for both teams. It's a short spring season, and you want to be up there as quickly as you can. Only with a chance on the right-hand side. Finds Edward, then gets bundled over and will win a free kick.
Prisoner's going to see a card here. Late challenge on Michael Noni.
Well, they were chatting, they were pals before the match. But not with a challenge like that. The ball's out of the way. No question about that being a yellow card.
Chris Nurse is a veteran. He knows what he's doing. He knows it's worth the card to slow down the game here. Eddie's had a little bit of a break on. But Chris Nurse does not, it's just not in his vocabulary, the easy foul. He's going to let you know that he's there. Yeah, it's the kind of player you hate to play against, but a lot of teams love to have him because of that way that everyone thinks about him when he's on the pitch.
Houghton left-hand side. Tries to beat his man. Knight does well to recover. Gets the ball back for Carolina, but his clearance held up in the wind. Rodala's trying to find Moses on the left-hand side. I think he may have kept that ball in, and now Roberts finds Rodales. The up and under over the top. Doesn't find an Eddie's player, but it's back with Rodales again, and again, poor pass.
Eddie's just got to hold that ball up and wait for some numbers to get forward. They finally got that ball under control, and instead of sticking that forward and where it's a 1-on-4 with Frank Jonke and the Carolina defenders, hold it up a little bit and wait for some blue shirts to join in.
Van Oekel had very little to do in this second half.
He in the first 10 minutes, he made a game's worth of saves. But you're right, Gareth. In this short season, you just can't afford to be throwing away points, especially when you're at home. And Carolina definitely has made some changes this year. It's a different team, the team that we saw last year. But this was Edmonton was their bogey team last year. Beat them in Carolina, had 2 big wins here at Edmonton. So you know, Edmonton would have looked at this game and thinking that we could have got 3 points here. Lose against expansion team in your opener while that was on the road. That's already in the sprint towards the spring season. You can't just be giving away points like that.
Richie Jones substituted and replaced by Chad Bird, so another attacking player. Colin Miller seems like he's going for 3 points here with 9 minutes to go.
So I think you have to. I think that the Eddies, with that loss last week, they need to get 3.
Nice pass there, Burt, with the outside of his right peg. Tried to get on the end of that one. Rodales will get there. Good situation developing here for the Eddies. Rodales is near post cross, headed away by Carolina. Eddie Edward trying to win it back. He's been pulled out from that right back position, and that's where Novo has moved into that space, but Laverty playing the ball to the left back spot, and it's not the best back pass, and Watson's in trouble here. Ball back by Kareem Moses. Van Oekel was advancing at just the same time, and Watson in the end uses a cool head and puts that ball into touch.
Yeah, Watson just realized, use your body, shield that ball. Matt Van Oekel went by him, and then his back pass option went away. But again, it was a poor back pass from Kareem Moses that started that whole heart-stopping series of incidents for the Eddies there. Fuddy Danso, I think, is getting ready to come in. Former MLS player. I think he's coming in for Nacho Novo.
Novo, the Carolina goal scorer, brought off. Danso is number 98.
So both goal scorers in this game are out of this game.
Houxon does well defensively and wins a free kick for FC Edmonton. Moses is in a chase back with the substitute and does well. Brings it back to Van Oekel. Still some uncertain defensive moments from FC Edmonton that are a bit alarming. They've got the ball forward again. Jonky getting his head to it.
You just can't have unforced giveaways there, like that last sequence where defender Milan Roberts is walking with the ball and he has no one on him, and he simply puts that to an orange shirt. You just can't have those. It's one thing when you're under pressure and you have to get rid of the ball, but it's another thing when you can see the field in front of you and you're not making the easy play.
Edge of the box, Houxon drills this one in low, and it might drop for Burt. Good work by Burt and by Eddie Edward. The challenge was late from Al-Badawi, enough for the referee to think it's a yellow card.
See, this is where it's interesting. Lance Lang, this is would have been his spot. But normally this would be Lance Lang's spot with his left foot. But now the decision was made, take him out of the game.
Now Fordyce looks like he's shaping to cross it into the box, but he could also surprise the goalkeeper.
With this wind, you can get any sort of swerve on it, but also it's going to carry on you.
Fordyce, and he does go for goal, and it was on target, and it was swirling around, and it was very well watched by Gilstrap.
Done by Gilstrap. You're right, sort of backed up a little bit on the end on him. Started coming back from the way he was coming. But there it is.
5 minutes to go at Clarke Stadium. 1-1. FC Edmonton trying to pull off all 3 points, but need a goal here. Rodales picking out Burt. Burt became a really influential player for FC Edmonton last season. On the edge of the box for Jonky. Trying to get a sight at goal. He's got Edward White on the right. Good cross to the near post, headed away well. And Carolina driving that one clear. The Eddies winning possession back. Rodales just got a bit too much on that, concedes the throw in.
And you can see there, Carolina's just asking Danso to hold up the ball, try to break the pressure, sort of like what Frank Jonky was doing in the first half. He was alone up there. No other Carolina shirts within sight of him. Now Carolina bringing up some numbers. I think they might get a chance here in the final third.
Wagner with a throw in from the left into the near post, headed away by Rodales. Nurse in possession. And Wagner. Al-Badawi. He's got him behind the back here, and a very good recovery by Eddie Edward. Excellent tackle again. From the left for Neil Laverty. Gone deep to the far post.
Houts in there. That was Osaki going over the top of him.
Fordyce going long. Knowing he might get on the end of this one. No, just
so works out for a corner though for the Eddies. So
2 and a bit minutes to go. And then there will be some stoppage time. There have been a couple of stoppages in the second half.
See Chad Bird on the corner. Now with Niasi and Lang out of the game, it's your free kick taker and your corner taker out of the game.
Oh, he's played a nice one in there, though, and Gilstrap choosing to fist it out to the other side.
Houkson's going to take it from this side. Some late pressure here.
Pony-tailed Icelandic player from the right-hand side, left-footed. It's gone deep, and Burt is there, wandering on the edge of the penalty area, and didn't place his pass well, but Rodales will try and get it back, and now Edward does, but a free kick already conceded by FC Edmonton. There's about 1 minute left, and then we will see 3 minutes of time added on.
Free kick. Giving it for the Eddies. Call goes against Shipolani. Yeah, he calls Shipolani for dragging the hand along Albert Watson's face there.
Shipolani feeling like he was actually the real victim. The referee firm with his decision. And Watson did stay down for a while, so he seemed to get a bit of a thwack. Cipollani not had the kind of influence in the second half he did in the first 10 minutes when he was tearing through the Eddies' defense, and really Carolina could have been 3 up.
Yeah. I mean, it's half glass empty, half glass full for the Eddies. You want to maximize your games at home, and getting a draw would probably be a bit of a disappointment in the home opener. But at the same time, you can say, well, we could very easily have gotten nothing out of this game. If Carolina would have buried those chances early in the game, they could have been out of sight in the first 10, 15 minutes. So it's sort of 12 of one, a half dozen of the other. I'm not really sure if you look at it as half empty, half full.
Good chance at the other end. Jonky been a difficult player to play against today, and he's going to have another 90 minutes under his belt. Couldn't quite direct that one towards goal. We are into stoppage time now. It's 1-1, and we've got about 3 minutes for the Eddies to try and sneak a winner here.
Jonky's done well to hold up the ball today, but the critics will point out that it's now 2 games for the Eddies and no goals from the strikers again. Both the goals have come from midfielders. They scored this season.
Side for Moses. Moses chipping this one up to the edge of the penalty area. Again, that's easy for Carolina. Jonky trying to win it back. Free kick given towards Carolina though here.
The Eddies haven't lost a home game since, I believe it was the second game of the fall season. So it's been, I think, since July of last year.
Edward heading a one away from the danger zone there, but Carolina on the attack here. Wagner steps in field, a right-footed cross in, headed away by Rodales. And that is the end. It's all over. And it's 1 point for FC Edmonton and 1 for Carolina. Very open first 45 minutes, and Carolina really could have been ahead by 2 or 3 in the first 10 minutes, but Edmonton storming back to get a 1-1 half-time scoreline. No more goals in the second half, so it's a 1-1 game at Clarke Stadium. Back to Clarke Stadium, a share of the spoils for both teams, finishing FC Edmonton 1, Carolina Railhawks 1 at full time. And we're going to bring you both coaches at full time. First, the Carolina head coach, Colin Clarke. Thanks for joining us again, Colin. What would you say about your analysis really over the 90 minutes today for your team?
We deserved 3 points and we didn't get them. Thought we were very, very good first half. Showed a lot of quality, created on team chances, didn't take them. Give up a disappointing goal right before the break, and we knew it was going to be tough second half, but you know, our keeper wasn't really bothered too much. We knew there'd be crosses and set plays to deal with, which he'd done very well. I just feel overall we had a lot better quality than them, and we should have won the game.
Thanks very much for joining us again,
Thank
Colin.
you.
That's Colin Clarke, the coach for Carolina, feeling like his team should have had 3 points today, and certainly the first 10 minutes. You can see why he might think that with several gilt-edged chances they didn't take. Let's hear from Colin Miller now with Steve.
Hi, Coach. We talked about the first half performance. How did you feel the team responded in the second?
I'm just disappointed. I thought we were very poor from start to finish. I give very few players pass marks here today. You know, at home I expect a certain standard, and we fell well below that today, from almost from front to back. It was we're nowhere near what we expect if we want the club to keep going. You know, and too many players there. Just I'm just really disappointed, Steve. It was just a very poor performance, and too many players didn't turn up today.
Do you feel then that a point is a good point, considering you're unhappy with the way the team played?
Yeah, it is a good point. It is a good point, given how poorly we were in the first half. I thought was as bad as a team performance as since I've been at the club, which is really concerning, because that's been you know, all the pre-season games first half, and now the first two games of the NASL season, we've been very poor in the first half. So we'll have to keep working away. The guys, it's an honest group of players. They know themselves it's a point gained, but they'll think it's a point gained, but I think it's definitely 2 points lost.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Colin Miller not very pleased with the way his team played in that 90 minutes today. As he said, from start to finish, very disappointed, among the most disappointing performances since he's been at the club. So harsh words indeed from Colin Miller, and possibly echoing what Colin Clarke said, which is the Carolina team probably could have won this match.
Good. Colin Miller talked about how few players he give pass marks to, but I think the person putting on the headphones right now will be the one person that gets an A, because Matt Van Oekel was outstanding, especially in the first half.
Well, especially the first few minutes. Matt, thanks for joining us. Just talk us through the opening minutes there, when you seem to have to make probably 3 point-blank saves for FC Edmonton. What was that like?
It was a little crazy. The wind was blowing right down our faces, so I mean, we were messing up a little bit on our communication, as well as our as following our marks, and thank the big guy upstairs. I got to make a couple of good saves and kept us in the game a little bit. So, ooh, that wasn't pretty. But yeah, I'm glad that I got to step up today. A lot better than yesterday or last week, and keep us in the game, and we walk away with a point, and we'll get after it next week, and we'll hopefully get 3 next week.
Just tell us about those opening minutes, though. What was that like for your confidence? Because
it was great. It was perfect. It's exactly what a goalkeeper wants, to make that big save right off the bat. It settles you down, and you can get on with the rest of the game then.
Colin Miller, though, telling us moments ago he feels like this was a poor performance from the team as a whole. What kind of response are you hoping for after this?
We definitely obviously want to keep going and grind out another 3 points next week. But yeah, this wasn't what we wanted to start off our homestand with. We've got a couple of real big key games coming up for us here in Edmonton, and we'll get back after work on Tuesday, and we'll keep pushing for our first one of the season this year.
Okay, well played today, Matt. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
That's Matt Van Oekel, and you saw the highlight reel saves he was able to make there, keeping FC Edmonton in it, and they finish up with a 1-1 draw against Carolina. Now, the full-time highlights brought to you by Oodle Noodle.
Here, I think we're going to see the goal. Osaki with the cross coming in. The one time that Carolina was able to solve Matt Van Oekel, and it's because of some exceptionally poor marking from FC Edmonton there. Nacho Nova, you can't leave a goal scorer like that much space in the box.
Pretty good response 5 minutes later.
Niasi with a great run. Niasi might be one of the other few players we'd say gets a good mark. And Lang, first time right foot, just curls it around Gilstrap there.
Lance Lang back on target. And that's how things finished. A 1-1 draw for FC Edmonton. Now, the save of the game was Matt Van Oekel. I mean, and
which one of the 3 or 4?
Disagree with that? Yeah, I mean, some terrific efforts by him.
Yeah,
now let's take a look at the league standings after that. 1 point for each team. I suppose that is the way to look at it. It is the first point of the season for FC Edmonton, and Colin Miller saying, considering the performance, a good point too.
Yeah, but he said we deserved all 3. He looks at all those scoring chances in the first half. But Carolina, it's a very good start, and considering their history here, The Carolina Railhawks do not have a good history here at Edmonton. That a point for them is a great result, considering they gave up 9 goals over 2 games here last year.
Well, the next home game coming up thick and fast for FC Edmonton here at Clarke Stadium. As the players talk to the fans there's Milan Roberts. And there it is next weekend, Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and you can get tickets at fcedmonton.com. And the fans will be hoping for a bit of a show next week.
Is Ronaldo coming?
Well, that'd be nice to see him, wouldn't it? World Cup winner.
Yeah, it would be something.
Now involved with Fort Lauderdale, maybe we'll see him next weekend. And hopefully it'll be a little warmer. Chilly and windy today, and definitely not the Eddies' best performance, but grinding out a point for a 1-1 draw against Carolina in the home opener. Thanks for joining us. Good night.